Hi, I just wanted to give you quite an exciting update of what's been happening the past couple of weeks with the Raspberry Pi graphics engine, and I've been working on the 3D modeler, which he previewed earlier on in one of the videos, and just to show you how I've been getting on with that, plus another development you haven't seen yet. So let's get straight into it and let's have a look at the modeler and see how far we've got with that one. So I've just minimized it, I'm going to expand it out, and we have here, I don't know if you remember this from quite a few videos ago, but we have here the cargo bay of that spaceship that we used to play around with. And you can see as we've loaded it in, all I've done is dragged and dropped this in, and it shows you all the animations and everything that this file can perform. It's a little bit slow, so the Raspberry Pi 3 Plus, and it's because I haven't optimized this yet, and what it's doing is actually drawing all these views in real time, so it's actually drawing 4 of these cargo bays in one go, which is why it's a little bit slow. It's probably still about 15 to 20 frames a second. But what's nice about it is that we can get all the effects that we have in our OBJ, modified OBJ file, come out in this Raspberry Pi editor. And the whole idea of this editor is that we can actually add things like effects like the steam down here, and we've got the little rotating radar that you can see running there. And that's one of the things you can do with this editor, is add all these special effects for the Raspberry Pi models, which we want to put into a game later on. So this editor is starting to come together, and that's one of the things you can do, drag and drop. I haven't got a clear on this yet, so what I'm going to do is I'll quickly exit and let's start up again. I want to show you one or two other things as well. You'll notice also we have this little yellow dot in the middle, but I'll show you we've got some tools actually operational now. So we've got, for instance, like the cuboid, and we can zoom in and we can add those cuboids. See, it's coming out in all the different views. So let's just zoom these in a little bit. You've also got the live text running up here as well, the XYZ coordinates. A lot of the text is now starting to operate very well. And so let's just add a few more models. We can also add spheres, we can add cylinders, and all these different shapes that we can actually start playing around with. We've got a tube, truncated cones, toruses, and so on. So you can see you can actually start creating stuff with this, and in a relatively intuitive way. One of the things this yellow dot allows us to do is actually feel around the objects, if you like, and add things. In this view, at least, I can actually add shapes onto each other. So I can go to the side of the cuboid, add a sphere, take a cone, add them to the top of that cuboid there. And so one of the features I want to add to this is that you can actually place things sensibly on top of each other. So if I've got like a model of a building and I want to put a chair on the second floor, I can actually place chairs on the second floor and so on. So it's one of a nice feature that many editors don't have, is a sort of touch and click, and it will actually go according to the normals of the surface as well. So ideally that one of these cylinders should rotate around on the torus down here, for example. Currently it doesn't, it just goes upright, but it will have that feature as well. So there we have a whole load of objects as well we can play around with. You'll notice a few icons over here. We've got one which is the mapping object, which allows us to create maps. We have extrude and lathing, or rotational sweep objects, if you like. And we have a bunch of tools up here. We'll have the select, we'll have the move around, rotation, and scaling, using a very similar system to the way the gizmos work in 3ds Max, which is, I find, very intuitive. So anyway, that will all come, and I just wanted to show you that those two things with this editor, the fact that you can actually load in models and play around with them, and eventually fully edit those. Plus you can actually create objects, and there'll be other features in this, such as I said earlier, as point editing and so on. But anyway, that's just giving an idea of how well this is getting on at the moment, and it's looking quite promising and still relatively fast. So there will be a lot more optimization with this model later on. I'll actually be snapshotting different frame areas rather than drawing more live. So at the moment it's a little bit slow, and it's certainly be quite slow on the 0, I think. I haven't tried it on the 0 yet. But yeah, that's a 3D editor, and I'd just like to show you one more development I've been working on. And let's just go out a minute and we're going to go to a directory called forest, and we're going to play around with what you see here. Now this, I'll be quiet for this one because it's got a bit of music to it, and it's a small flight simulator, so we can sort of run around. I can pick up speed, I can slow down, and we have this forest which basically uses all these trees looking, which we use a look at vector, and those are operating pretty quickly. So let's just slow down. Let's just, if I can land next to the control tower here. Now this music is done by a guy called Raphael Crux, and he's done amazing scores which are free to use. So I was quite amazed. I wrote to him and said, yes, we can use this for Raspberry Pi. So I hope to include a number of these types of music which are quite exciting for whatever sort of game you'd like to use. And there's another little surprise with this one. We've got we've actually got the first person view as well, cockpit view, and it's all lit. So as we spin around here, you can actually got a cockpit view as well. And again, none of this has really been optimized yet, but so you can squeeze out quite a bit more. I've been talking to a good friend Paddy Gaunt, who's been saying, for instance, I can use the trees using point sprites and so on. There's a load of other optimizations that can be done, and I hope to make this into a full-blown sort of combat type game, and maybe nipping out to space and so on. Oh, but let's just see how we can push it. It may not be able to push it too far, but I know it just by proof of concept with this sort of this little mini game here, if you like, a lot can be done. So anyway, I thought I'd just update you with these two new or these projects I've been working on, and hope you enjoyed watching it. Thanks again for watching.